Okay, hi, good people of our audience. Today's gonna be a little different. We got a little. There's a topic that's very critical to us, very important to us. It's nothing major, nothing Chicago teams, nothing like that. We went to the Eastern Illinois University basketball game the other day, and it was
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. We went, and the women's team lost. We didn't really see them. And the men's team lost by a miraculous three-point shot. So, that type of stuff does happen. But the truth of it is, the women's team only had 4 wins so far this season. And the men's team only have 11 wins. So you do
7 against true Division I opponents.
they're 7-11 within their conference.
Those are the 7 wins
Right.
within their conference.
True.
The other 4 were against Sat Sacks.
And they lost to a team that only had 5 wins?
5 total wins.
And
Southern Indiana University.
For those of you who don't know, Eastern Illinois University for basketball, they play in the OVC, the Ohio Valley Conference, and the top 8 teams from that conference go into a playoff tournament. The game that we went to was basically a playoff game, and EIU lost on a senior day, no less, at home, no less, and they lost. They're now in 9th place. And the way how it's going, they may not make the playoff tournament. Their playoff tournament, they're not going to happen. And their head coach is a gentleman by the name of Marty Simmons. Marty Simmons' Eastern Illinois basketball record as head coach, 51 wins and 103 losses. I'll repeat again, 51 wins, 103 losses.
In 5 years.
In 5-year stretch of time. Marty Simmons, let me just tell you his resume. Marty Simmons, is he 7th or is he 9th all-time in...
He's in the top 10.
Okay, he's in the top 10 of all-time points of Illinois high school basketball when he played.
At Lawrenceville High School.
He played...
He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois.
Marty Simmons played for Bobby Knight at the University of Indiana for the Hoosiers back in the day. And now he's a basketball coach for a team that has 51 wins and 103 losses in his entire tenure. What kind of discipline are we having here? Not to mention, when Marty Simmons coached at Evansville, Indiana, his winning percentage was 513%. That's just right over the bubble of 500. Again, I ask the question, what standard are we having here? We clearly don't have one. And I got some stats here. We got some stats here. So this just goes to show, how challenging and how difficult it is. For starters, I understand. I played sports and stuff. I did not play in college. I'm not going to. But the truth of it is, you go all this way for recruitment and whatnot. We're going to spend all this time and energy. And Illinois has, and we found an article, roughly 2023. We found
From where? We want to tell you where we got our information. A legit source.
What was it? The National Center for Education?
National Center of Education put out these numbers.
The National Center of Education.
Not some Yahoo or some not Wikipedia or some bogus. This is an accredited source.
So altogether, and this is because we had all-time national, then we had some within the state of Illinois. So altogether, nationally, 15.4 million people go to a public school.
Attend public school.
In all four grades, basically.
Attend public high schools. This is before being an athlete. Just attending school.
Yes. And then they go off, and then the other half, they're going to go off to a 2.6 million people in a private school. If you understand. Sorry, just got to point that out there. Annually, within athletics, a high school, an annual basis of 8.2 million student athletes are going to participate in high school athletics.
Nationwide, 8.6 million will participate beyond high school in some type of athletic event in college.
And then after that, only approximately 7% of these said students are going to play anywhere in college. That number accumulates into 574,000. Again, 7% of these people are going to go off and play in college.
No, 7%. No. Okay. Approximately 7% of the students, which the 7% of the students equal 574,000. It isn't 7% of 574,000. It's 7% of the 8.2 million, which comes out to be 574,000 individuals are playing in college now.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification there.
And of those 574,000 playing in college, based on the percentage, annually speaking, there is only 162,000 Division I athletes across the United States. Okay. Now you might sit there and go, that's a lot. But there's 364 Division I basketball programs and approximately 180 Division I football programs. So if football is able to carry,
what is it, 50 people?
50 people, okay, 50 times 200, if we round up, making math real easy, that's 10,000 students right there.
Wow.
That's 10,000 of the 162, just for football. So this 162 is not a lot, Division I. But the point being...
No, my point being, out of all these people, then the reason why we bring this up, because there's so many people across the country, across the world, however you may put it as. But my point being, if you put all that time and energy going across the world in recruiting or scouting or whatever it may be.
Okay, but you need to,
no, my point being,
before you start saying you're going all over, please indicate to them where Eastern is getting their players before you make a statement that they're going all over the world.
Well, they don't, on the men's team, they don't have one from Illinois.
They don't have, but they have somebody from Washington, D.C.
They have one from Georgia.
They have somebody from Georgia. They have somebody from Kentucky. Okay? They have somebody from Maryland.
They got one from Ohio.
Okay? When he's saying across the world, he's making reference to Eastern Illinois' women's program has somebody from Spain.
And they got 4 wins.
Okay?
You can win 4 games or 11 with the people within your state of Illinois. Come on. How do you justify, as a college program or anything, how do you justify, even with all the problems that college athletics are facing of today, how can you justify putting together this grouping of people and all you have is at most 11 wins? I don't see it. I don't see it, truthfully. Off topic, I know I'm talking about the basketball team mostly here, but Eastern Illinois University, as a supporter of yours, you dropped the ball, pun not intended, between you and Jimmy Garoppolo. How do you create a controversy with one of your main star people? This man played in a Super Bowl. How do you create a controversy with this guy? Again, how do you justify that at all? Come on. Be better. Be better. I
And I guess the point of the show is, how come Eastern can't come up with five Illinois kids to play in a basketball team?
You got the Chicago public. Yeah, no, scratch that. Not even Chicago. The public league is all across the state, basically. Catholic league, all across the state, more or less. You can't find any of these people.
Right before the show, we looked at comparisons. Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, which is in the Ohio Valley,
Yeah,
has
that's 7.
7. Well, they had 5 from the Chicagoland area.
Yep.
And 2 from St. Louis. Half of their roster is within 300 miles.
Yeah,
And they're 5th currently in the OVC.
and EIU is not.
So, how are they missing those kids? Why are those, and done some homework here, most of the kids from Eastern Illinois University, Eastern now is their 3rd basketball school in 3 years. My personal thing is, Marty Simmons isn't going into gyms watching players. I think it's those players look and say, Eastern's losing 7 kids. I'm going to throw my name in the ring and say, you know what? I'm going to Eastern.
And what's even more pathetic about that is,
Sight unseen.
No, what's even more pathetic about that is, and again, on one half of it, that's what college athletics is now.
And I went to Eastern.
He did. But the reality of it is, and we were sitting there in the stadium, and a little off topic from my point here, what I'm going to make. We're sitting there, and we look up to the rooftop of the banners, and you look in the name, Kevin Duckworth. For those who don't know, Kevin Duckworth, who was on the NBA Portland Trailblazer team that lost to Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, he was on that team. He went to Eastern Illinois University. Eastern Illinois, they have a standard. Baseball, Randy Myers, he had a saves record. You know, he was on all these great teams. Baseball, Marty Patton. You know, football, Kyle Shanahan, Sean Payton, Tony Romo, Jimmy Garoppolo, Bob Spoo. Bob Spoo was a great football coach. They had a standard. But now I'm wondering, within the last 10, 12 years, where has this standard gone? And for Eastern Illinois University, who produces more teachers and professional educators than any college educational
In the state of Illinois.
within the state of Illinois. Thank you. But within the state of Illinois, again, how do you justify this? I don't understand this. In every category, how do you, when there's community colleges that I have attended, that I've gone through, I've had friends gone to, I've seen community colleges take better care of themselves than Eastern Illinois does. That's sad. And I'm not talking about just sports, I'm talking in every category. That is sad to me.
Well, I blame the kid too. I blame the kid to a point. Because every kid and every delusional family thinks their kid can play Division I. Okay? And if you look deep enough, you could find a school that you can slot yourself and say, I'm a Division I athlete. And I think that's what these kids at Eastern, you know, because they're coming from, you know, Virginia Wise University. I didn't know where the hell Virginia Wise University was. Okay? They're coming from Eastern Arizona College.
Never even heard of it.
Okay? They're coming from Mineral Area junior college. They're coming from an NIA power Point Park University.
Okay.
Okay? It's not a power, I just said that. Okay. What I'm basically saying is they're getting kids who are hanging on to when they're done playing, they can sit back and tell their grandkids, I played Division I basketball.
Okay, but you got to be real,
And Marty Simmons is allowing these non-Division I kids, and to a point, because you know what, if they were Division I, you wouldn't be starting at Mineral Area College.
Okay. Let me be real here. When people talk about college teams, they talk about schools. It's advertised as schools. What's your favorite school? That's how it's portrayed as. They had, for example, they had the John Calipari documentary on last night. Bobby Knight says in the documentary, talking about John Calipari put 2 schools on probation. He didn't say teams, he said schools. When you are bringing in people who are just, like, this is it. This all that they're doing is playing basketball or whatever professional sport it is, and you're not finding success, clearly. It reaches a point to where, what are these people studying?
But and I've said this, and it could be in defense maybe to Marty Simmons. NIL has been around for about 5 years.
Yeah. That's never going away.
Well, because and I'm going to use Illinois as an example, or Illinois State as an example. If Illinois State and Eastern are recruiting the same kid,
yeah,
and Illinois State can say, you know what, we can give you $100,000. Eastern don't have $100,000. So they're losing that marginal kid to ISU. And then that marginal kid, ISU's losing out to U of I. Because they got the bigger the budget of NIL money, you're taking away. In the old days when there was no NIL money, the kid would have to make a decision. Do I want to go to Illinois State or do I want to go to Eastern? Where am I going to play? Where more playing time? It would be all based on playing time. And maybe in the days of Kevin Duckworth and that, everything was even. But now, it's not. So, and these kids at Eastern Illinois are probably not getting any NIL money at all. Okay? Because from what I understand, and I have a few sources down at Eastern, the pool of NIL money doesn't really exist. Okay? And
no, but
so, but Marty Simmons has to, or the basketball program has to do a better job of evaluating what type of kid. And if you're only going to win 7 games, you can find
anyone.
You can find 11 kids in the state of Illinois.
You can go to any YMCA gymnasium. In the state.
Illinois is from a standpoint of square miles. I mean, you can drive from the Wisconsin border to Cairo, Illinois, and it will take you 6 hours. You can cover 6 hours of driving and never leave the state, and you're telling me you can't find
anybody,
10 bodies
that
want to go and play Division I basketball from the state of Illinois.
See,
where SIUE is getting 5.
See, and it's very concerning because growing up, every other person I met, it felt like that person went to Eastern Illinois University, and that was just like a status quo. And now it's now it's like, oh, you go to Eastern? Oh, okay. That it is what it is. And I blame Eastern Illinois University with that because again, what is your standard? Because if all these sports teams, and I have to ask a real legitimate question as an Illinois citizen here, I want to ask this a question. If all these sports teams, and I don't want to go down a conspiracy theorist rabbit hole here, but if all these sports programs, and people have said this to me, if all these collegiate sports athletic programs are there to generate money for the school and the university and what have you, okay, fine, all well and well. But yet, I don't see any new buildings at EIU. I don't hear anything about any new academic departments. I don't hear anything about any new teachers or professors. I don't hear anything about any new enrollment. It's been stagnant for the last 10, 12 years.
Well, I could defend that. We were in the gym yesterday. 2,000 people at $5 a head. The upper is $5 a head. So how much money are they making on revenue?
No, but but even in the local area, I don't see Eastern Illinois being advertised as it once was.
Well, Charleston by nature is not an advertising hub of anything.
Oh no, but
okay, and their boosters and donors are nowhere near in the neighborhood of U of I's or DePaul's or Northwestern's.
okay, that is fair. That is true.
So when you're talking about the buildings being erected on campus, it would probably take 10 or 12 years of money to be generated to build in a day. And how much more additions do you need? You went on that campus. You're landlocked. Where would you put a new building?
But the campus has been the same forever.
Yes.
Far to my knowledge. Even when you were there, has it not looked the same the last 40 years?
Yes.
Almost.
Yes.
Okay.
And they converted McAfee Gym strictly for volleyball use only. And they revamped McAfee Gym.
I read something about that in a newspaper.
So the volleyball team, which if you're recruiting volleyball, and volleyball in the OVC is good because you're recruiting a volleyball kid, they have their own exclusive arena. Strictly for nobody, intramurals don't play there anymore, basketball don't practice there. It is solely exclusive for volleyball. And that's a plus.
But that was the only basketball game I've ever been to with a band. The band felt like they were more in tune than the coaching staff. And as you said, well, they're the band. They've been here forever. You know, they probably go to more games than anybody anyway. And as you said, they probably get carte blanche to do whatever it is that they would want to do.
And I also think that part of their grade would be you need to show up at the basketball games.
Well, true, but to me, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. I mean, when you're too busy yelling at the referees, then you're not at your own players to get in their positions that they need to be in.
And, you know, the unfortunate thing is with Marty Simmons, he has an extension. I don't know. I think it's a 2-year extension on top. So it's just going to be this.
It's going to be the same stagnant.
Okay. Because, you know, there are a variety of reasons why. There's not reasons. There's some. One could make their own opinion on why he's still. Because if you had a 300 winning percentage after 5 years at a major university, you're whacked.
Yeah, why would, yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's hanging around for 5 years and he's got an extension. And unfortunately, when the turnaround, when he decides that he's going to no longer coach, and they get somebody, now, again, Be careful for what you wish for because things could be worse.
Like the women's team, they won. What did the women's basketball team? They win the conference, and then 2 years later they.
Well, he left. The guy.
Well, I know, but still, you know, that guy.
They
left.
won the OVC. They went to the big dance tournament. They got blown out. He left. They put this new guy in who's been there 2 years. This year they got 4 wins.
Doesn't make any sense. Again, you can lose 4 games from anybody from any small town in the state of Illinois. Not even a big city. Not talking about.
But I'm also going to go this way. And you young people out there, it's all this technology. We don't need to go to a gym and watch because you know what? We have everything with film. We can just click stuff on, it's there. Lazy people.
That too.
Okay.
That too.
You know.
I grew up in the last generation where they didn't really have that stuff.
You know, most of the people now are sitting on their ass. And then the other thing is, if they get bored, or if they think it's a nuisance to do this, and I know some people who, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, and you can't find a body, or you won't go in a car and drive 2.5 hours and watch a good game, and maybe grab a kid. All right. Well, we don't need to do this. We got film. No.
Well, you coached. So back in your day, you would never only watch film?
We didn't have film. When you scouted, you went to a gym with pad and paper. This is what they do.
Well, they don't do that anymore.
Well, I know one guy that does it. Assistant coach at Brother Rice. He does it. This nonsense of, I got film. No! See, the technology. Everybody thinks technology works.
It's not so much the technology, it's also the utter delusion of where don't ask questions, we know what we're doing. It's like, oh, we played the game, we know what we're, okay.
And there's, it's... But my alma mater's got to do something.
They got big time improvement because Eastern Illinois University has the Illinois track. They got the Illinois track meets for the high school state championships. Eastern Illinois, I will say, they have a decent baseball team. They got that, but other than that,
This is the worst 5-year
stretch of time.
5-year stretch of time.
Yeah,
We haven't gone back. We went as far back as Rick Samuels in the 90s. So we're going back almost 40 years. This is the worst 5-year period.
They're not.
And if you look at the roster, there ain't one kid from Illinois.
That's because truth be told, if you've been doing this for 5 years,
Make 100, just 100 miles.
5 years.
Just make 100 miles.
Yeah.
Radius around Charleston, Illinois. Just 100 miles. You're telling just 100 miles. You're telling me you can't find 5 or 6 kids that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that played at successful high schools. Because apparently you don't have to be Division I because you're not winning.
If all you have is 11 wins, you're not a sound basketball team.
And 7 of them, 4 of them, East-West University out of Chicago. Try to Google that.
Run that by them again. Tell the audience.
Try to Google East-West University out of Chicago. I got lucky one time and got on their website. They got 8 players. They play in a gym in an office building in Chicago.
Are you kidding me?
That's where their gym is located,
Oh, wow.
on like the 8th floor.
It sounds like awesome.
But
that sounds awesome.
that's the limited information you're going to get from East West University. And Eastern blew them out by 50. But everybody's blown them out by 50. That's one of their wins. Blackburn, Division III. They play them every year.
Well, they're Division 3. You're supposed to beat them.
Tiffin, Tiffin University. I don't even know where the hell they're located. And what was their other fourth one? Non-conference. I don't remember. And then they got 7 conference wins. That's the collective body of work
But the thing,
of their wins.
But the thing about Eastern Illinois conferences in all the sports that they're in, they're for those again who don't know them, they're in the type of conferences of where roughly really anyone on an equal footing can win them. They're all on equal playing fields. Again, pun not intended. But in the last 5 years, Eastern Illinois University for basketball,
Murray State's
they don't even look like they're in the same division.
Murray State's no longer in there. Belmont is no longer in there. And those were the same 2 teams every year that went into. Tennessee Martin, I believe. They still got Morehead State, but Morehead State's leaving the OVC next year.
What was the team that John Morant played for?
Murray State.
Thank you.
They're gone. Okay? Murray State's gone, Belmont's gone. They went and moved to the Missouri Valley. Eastern's in with Tennessee Martin,
Okay.
Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State, Eastern Illinois,
Yep.
Lindenwood, SIUE, Western Illinois University,
They're all comparable. They're all meant to be like the.
and you're 9th in a
They're not even close. And
in a 12. Yeah, a 12-team conference
a 12-team conference that any team can win,
with the teams I just mentioned.
and that any team can win. But yet, see, for me and him, we're not necessarily mad when you lose. We're more mad when it's like it's apparent that you're not trying.
To me, that's like if you're coaching high school. If you're losing with seniors, you dump their ass. And you play the freshmen.
The senior, yeah.
Because you're still going to lose.
Yeah.
This way, the freshmen are going to stay there and they're going to build a program. You dump their ass. So people who are out there, if you're watching and you're you know, you dump. If you're losing with seniors, first of all, if you're coaching, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to insult your intelligence level, but if you're losing a boatload of games with seniors, something's wrong, and that falls on the coach. Eastern's losing with people that they're looking for all over the United States, and they're losing when you could lose with the same kid in your own backyard. And not only that, you're going to give a kid the opportunity to go to a state school. A kid from Illinois to go to a state school. I personally knew a good kid from Illinois. He started as a freshman at Eastern. And Marty Simmons kind of said, you know, this doesn't fit into you. And he loved the university.
You mean the kid?
Yeah.
I mean the player who wanted to be there?
Oh, he loved Eastern. He loved Eastern Illinois University. Okay. And he had the opportunity to play Division I, and he was happy with that. And as a freshman, he was playing, I think, like 9 minutes a game. Could have played more, but he was right in the back. He was willing to spend his time and see what happens. and they ran all those kids off and got a new bunch of yahoos who have been in 2 and 3 and 4 different colleges.
But at that point, haven't you seen enough of them too? Again, I don't want to be like way too definitive on that, but again, how can you justify? Because there's a family friend that we know who, you know, she's a tremendous basketball player. She's going to go play basketball in
Iowa.
Yeah, out there, over there in Iowa. But yet, no one here would give her a chance.
I mean, could she play Division I? I don't know. But I'm sure she can be on a team that has only won 4 games.
Should be the star player on that team.
Well, you know. But, you know, you're not giving it. No. I mean, Illinois. I'm not saying the local area. Illinois. You could go into the south suburbs, the Catholic League, and the metro area down, and you're telling me you can't find 5 players? You're telling me you couldn't go in the Catholic League where St. Leo and Brother Rice? I mean, the stars, like DePaul Prep. They got 3 kids going Division I. They got a kid going to the Ivy League. They got a kid going to either Toledo or Akron. Okay. And they got another kid going. Oh, where the hell's he going? And Bennett Academy's got Bennett Academy last year had a 6'8" kid, and he ended up going to Carbondale. Stayed in Illinois, went to Carbondale. I bet Eastern didn't even attempt to recruit this kid. But the kid went and stayed in Illinois. Wasn't good. Didn't go to U of I. Didn't go to ISU. Went to Carbondale. Okay. And then you couldn't go in a public league and take a flyer on some of those kids? Or go down to East St. Louis or Belleville.
I was right about to say East St. Louis.
In the metro area down there and grab a kid from there. I don't think they go out and hunt. I think this list of kids look and go, you know what? Eastern's losing. I'm going to contact their coach and say, I'd like to go to your place. And it'll be their 4th. And how many of these kids who are on the 3rd list are going to leave and try to go somewhere else next year, and a new bunch of kids are going to come in?
We have no idea. You have no idea. But, again, with college basketball, they play 2 quarters.
2 halves.
2 halves. Same.
No, it's not the same difference.
Well.
2 halves.
Okay, you play 2 halves, but high school, you play 4 quarters. NBA, if you get there, you play 4 quarters. Men's college basketball, you play 2 halves.
Men's college basketball is the only level of basketball where you play 2 halves. The women have 4 quarters now, at all levels. Men's college basketball is the only basketball. Grade school, 4 quarters. Junior high, 4 quarters. High school, 4 quarters. NBA, 4 quarters. College basketball, you play 2 halves.
You would think there would be a little more urgency with that. You would think, okay, this is all the time that I have. You would think that there would be a little more diligence with that when you're operating a college basketball team.
And maybe the university's just happy and content and say, Marty's doing a great job.
Hey, we don't care. Hey, okay, well, you're not productive. Like, look, because it's reaching a point now where it's just, I want to say it, but I'm trying to think of the words to say. It's just they just don't have anyone in the room to tell them how wrong that they are. That's basically what I want to say there. They don't have anyone in the room to tell. No, that's not a good idea.
And you know what? A lot of this 5 and 6 year stuff where mediocrity could even fall higher than the coaching staff.
At that point, it does.
You know,
And at that point, it falls higher than any management that would fall to.
I think the athletic director, who's probably making $300,000 a year, is like just sitting going.
Again, this is the same. Is he not the same athletic director who was AD during the entire fiasco with the university between Jimmy Garoppolo? Who was that? Who was the? Who was the athletic director during that time period?
When Garoppolo was playing?
No. I mean recently.
My guess is through that friction, that would be a university thing.
Okay,
that
but-
would be a president thing.
No, but still, I
don't
mean,
think the athletic director had a whole lot.
No, but still, that falls on everybody. That this is the most noticeable guy that you have. Really, he played in the Super Bowl. Oh, okay, but you know.
Apparently, Jimmy didn't show up at a fundraiser.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, there was a function where all these other noticeable Eastern Illinois.
They had a big deal, and I got an invitation. Well, all alum got invitations, and for $150, you were able to go and be outside the ropes, able to get a couple of drinks, and look at Tony Romo, Sean Payton. Tony Garoppolo was scheduled to appear. Shanahan and other affluent athletic people in the program. For $300, and again, tickets were limited. For $300, you were able to get through the ropes, have dinner, and have a photo session with the group. Okay? And they sold out in minutes.
Of course they did.
And Jimmy Garoppolo was on the list of people to appear. And Jimmy didn't show.
Does not matter. I understand.
Which now
But
irked a bunch of people, and I believe that. And if you're watching, and if you're sitting in the football stands and looking across on Lance Gym on the outside, they got banners of names. And I believe Jimmy's was there at one time,
and they took it down.
and Jimmy's is no longer there now.
That's inexcusable to me.
And then after the wing ding, Sean Payton, I guess, was Ike's is a bar at Charleston, and Sean Payton and Tony Romo were literally, after the wing ding, they went and tended bar to the general public at Ike's. And Jimmy was nowhere to be found. Now, I don't know if he said he had another family commitment, but anyway, this is one of those things that you plan years in advance.
I understand that, but in the same time, it's not wise to make a problem with one of your best people. You don't do that. I don't care what the situation is. They should not have done that. And that was not a moment of time that should have been a problem. But
Or maybe,
maybe he didn't want to go. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he didn't want to go.
I mean, and you mentioned earlier about, there's no buildings or whatever. It would be very easy, especially for the football program, because O'Brien Stadium needs a renovation. You could easily,
Oh, yes.
Garoppolo, Romo, and Peyton could easily cut a check for the three of them.
Very well could.
and say,
Someone from the Shanahan family as well.
what updates do you need? We're writing the check.
They very well could. Maybe they're not chummy with them. Maybe they're not buddy with all of them in the way how the university wants you to think.
No.
But again, they're all grown men. They can all make their own decisions.
But the mediocrity, and it's not even mediocrity with the basketball program.
It's awful. It's inexcusable, truthfully.
You know, because they're going to miss. They're probably not going to go to the Ohio Valley tournament.
And I just want this to be said. The game that we went to yesterday, they've had the 8th place spot, meaning they had the final wild card playoff spot. They don't have that anymore.
Well, it's not doom and gloom. They got 2 games left. They got to play Lindenwood, who's higher than them.
Okay.
And then they end up with SIUE next Saturday afternoon.
Aren't they also higher than them?
They're 5th place.
Well, there you go.
With the 5 Illinois kids and the 2 St. Louis kids.
That'd be tough for them.
Which now, knowing that, because I was like, well, do we need to go? I would like to just go down there and watch that game, whether it's worth anything in the standings, just to see those 7 local kids play against the nationwide search team of it, Eastern Illinois University.
They can't make a layup. Eastern Illinois basketball can't make a layup. They run up and down the court very, very well. They pass the ball very, 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 very well. Can't make a layup.
They scored 20 points in 1 half yesterday.
We're not making that up, by the way.
You're telling me you couldn't find intramural kids before the game started and say, do you think you can make 10 baskets in 20 minutes? Because that's 20 points. These are the alleged kids that Marty Simmons from Nationwide are bringing on campus and ending up in 9th place in the Ohio Valley Conference.
How many of them are on scholarship? That's a bigger question. That's a larger question.
I would think they're all getting...
Because if you're here on some kind of scholarship type deal, and the same can be said for every and any college, but
my guess is between, financial aid and scholarships, none of them are paying tuition.
Right, but if this is how it's been, because I look at this and I think of how I don't want to make this comparison. I'm comparing a pro team to a college team, but the White Sox baseball, Chicago White Sox lost 100 games 3 years in a row. I've seen NBA basketball teams they're just all awful, and you see college programs such as this that should not be a doormat in the way that they are. And it raises a question, does anyone up above, whether it be the president or the athletic director or whatever management of that university or that program may be, do they even care? And apparently, I don't think they do. Sorry.
And one can make the argument, and I don't know, and I don't want to, I'm not comparing, but one can make the argument of what Illinois is doing. They're going overseas and bringing in 5 or 6
dominant,
well, Europeans, shipping them across country, coming here, and they're taking a spot away from an Illinois kid. And not only that,
they lost last night.
Another, I'm not going to word it in any way, but you're bringing in, and you know what? In that case, you better win games. And now the people are going to say, well, yeah, they are winning games. You lost to UCLA last night. You gave up 95 points. Okay?
All you do is shoot the 3.
Okay.
They don't play defense.
And, so is this going to be the coming attraction for Brad Underwear? Is he going to go across the Atlantic every year, look for 6 Europeans?
But you're not a college coach, and that's what you're doing. You're not a college coach. Brad, because I don't like him, you don't like him, we don't like him here. Sorry. He's forever Brad Underwear. Brad Underwear, all they do, they shoot the three, they shoot the three. They don't get it. Okay, try it again. They don't get it. Go again. They don't get it. Go. They don't play defense. I know this because Krutwig beat them in a March Madness tournament. And the guy last night ran,
The end of the game, 5 seconds, 4.9 seconds left. The guy got the ball, went end to end. No Illinois kid could stop him. Got a layup and scored and won the game. Now, for you viewing audiences there, correct me, stop me, make a comment. And I know a lot of you watch the Illinois stuff. When Illinois runs a play, when they run a play and run a set, please make a comment on here and say, hey, stupid guy from Eastern, this is what Illinois did. As opposed to just watching them 5 wide and shooting threes. Make a comment and say, this is what they did. When they ran a backdoor play.
They don't run a
when
play.
They run screen roll, and I'm not counting screen roll, okay? Forget screen roll. I don't want that because that's really not a play.
Everyone does that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
The point guard comes down here and he passes his head, meaning screen roll. The big guy comes out, screen, you pass it, he rolls, and you dump it in. Give me Princeton's old backdoor. Give me 9 passes and a double screen. Give me a flare cut. Give me a wheel play.
You want anything.
And make a comment and say, hey, they ran this on this particular day. You ain't gonna see that.
And by the way, we can have the same argument about U of I basketball as well. And I know you said it earlier a few seconds ago, but who was the guy? He went to, what was it, Champaign Central, and they made a big deal about it. How he went to Arizona, and he played against them. It was, I think, the team last year, or the team 2 years ago. How he went to like some Champaign high school. And he played at Arizona with the Wildcats. And then he ended up back here, and he played at Champaign.
Well, they had the 2 brothers that were from Champaign, and I can't remember their names.
No, but still, I mean, you have a guy in Champaign, and he was in your own area.
I don't think Illinois' got a kid from Illinois.
They got a bunch of guys who are not even from the country. They better win with them.
I don't think they got.
They played in some professional league out there.
And that all went to hell in a handbasket when, who was it? The assistant coach, he thought he was going to get the U of I job. And then Johnny, it wasn't Collins. Maybe it was. He was waiting to get the job, and he was Lou Henson's assistant, and he was the guy that was recruiting everybody. And then that guy didn't get the U of I job, so I think he went to UIC. Then he started recruiting, and all those kids went to UIC, and that's when the public league recruiting going to the University of Illinois started to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. And now they can't even get a kid from Illinois. So.
And you know what the unfortunate part of it is? Because you were a professional teacher for a very long time. You and I both know people who are teachers for a very long time. But anyway, when schools' athletic programs succeed, normally, most of the time, that entire school as top to bottom, all of them, they succeed. But just want that to be said there, people.
All right, that's our, you got anything else? Okay, that's,
no, not really.
But, I mean, you wanted to do a show on this.
Well, I mean, because you asked me the question, and how, why, and where did I ever think to myself EIU could be this bad? And when did it become this bad? It's when, truthfully, it's when the homecoming parade started to dwindle. It's when the homecoming parade started to dwindle. It's when the basketball teams and sporting teams couldn't find anyone from Illinois to play for them. It's really when they stopped advertising in the way that they did. It's just top to bottom. Eastern Illinois University, it has been in a crossroads, a sad, pathetic crossroads. This should have lasted maybe 3 years max as an institution, and it's been over 10 years at this point, and it's laughable.
But 51 and 103 for Marty Simmons, and they give him an extension.
He may be a very nice guy. I don't know.
If your name was Bill Smith and was not Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois and wasn't in the top 10 leading shooters and scorers in the state of Illinois, and you had a 51 and 103 record, ask yourself this: do you think you would still have a job at a Division I school?
No, this is...
So,
and I don't want to be that guy, but it got so far. It's gone too far in many places. So,
all right. That's
good night, everybody.
yeah. I mean, we've gone. I mean, an hour. Hopefully, when you watch this, you have the patience to watch this for an hour and understand it. So,
We did not mean to be this long on this. It was supposed to be like a 12-minute little topic, but
so that's all we got. So
take care.
all right. Hey, Chicago sports.